Hello, my name is S.K. Nandy and I am a professor of computational and data sciences at the Indian Institute of Science, and my area of work centers around multi-core, many-core processor architectures and their realization as a system on a chip, especially catering to emerging applications from the domain of avionics, domain of telecom, 5G telecom, and autonomous vehicles, industrial automation, and other HPC applications. It is in this connection that we have worked a lot with people from other places in the world, and our association with Safran, the leading French aerospace company, has been for over more than 5 years, and it is through this association with Safran that we got introduced to the CEFIPRA program, and that led to our writing a proposal for the CEFIPRA project under the Industrial Academy Research and Development Program, IARDP. As I said, it was our interaction with Safran that made us to write a proposal for the CEFIPRA Industry Academic Research and Development Program, and upfront we had participants from Safran, Francois Neumann, Dr. Philip Beaufreton, and from Inria we had Albert Cohen and Marc Posey, the leading people in the compiler domain, and from the Indian industry morphing machines we had Dr. Ranjani Narayan, an expert in architectures, and from the Indian Institute of Science, the academic partner, we had myself and my colleague Professor Raha. So this project that we embarked with CEFIPRA was on reactive programming and compiling framework. And this is very important if you consider the next generation avionics, which is integrated modular avionics, wherein you have to deal with mixed workload and of mixed criticality. So it was a very interesting exercise wherein we had to cater to how these applications, several of them, can be realized on a many-core platform, and it was a single SoC, and in this single SoC we were targeting different domain-specific accelerators for each of the workloads. So that was a very nice experience with CEFIPRA and the partners that were engaged in this project. Let me share with you some of the key outcomes of this interaction with our French partners under the IARDP program of the CEFIPRA. Firstly, I would like to say that the morphing machines was already working towards a many-core processor called REDEFINE, and it was this REDEFINE that had to be validated for next generation avionics, as I mentioned, integrated modular avionics. In this context, what came out was a programming and a compilation framework that was validated, and this validation was done on a functional simulation environment of the REDEFINE 128 core processor, and then we extended it to 256 core processor, and together with that there were issues that had to be addressed at the point of programming itself that would cater to real-time requirements or the reactive requirements of the various applications, which again was validated in a instruction set architecture simulator of the REDEFINE processor, and parts of it was also validated in an FPGA environment. So this was the kind of outcome that we had from an academic interaction point of view, but then there was other aspect of this outcome which had to do with people from here visiting France, interacting with the scientists there, and it was both a academic and a cultural engagement that happened to the extent that people enjoyed staying in France. They could visit the various museums and learn a lot about the French culture, and also share the Indian culture with their French counterparts, and in turn inviting them to come to India for project interaction. I must acknowledge here that CEFIPRA was the forum for this very good interaction with my students, especially two of them who worked for their PhD, and one student worked on issues related to reactive compilation and therefore heptagonal language extensions and OpenCL backend development, and my other student was involved in extending the network on chip for the REDEFINE processor in a fault tolerant setup. So this kind of a framework allowed us to interact with the French counterparts, and essentially it adds more value to the contributions being made by the student in their thesis. And going forward, we look forward to having this interaction continue through other engagements under the same CEFIPRA program.
Long live India and France friendship.